Good morning, everybody. Today we're going to be messing around with the manure pit at the back of that barn right there. We have sand bedding, so it's been building up in that pit. We're going to try and deal with that today. So we're going to grab the case loader so we can lift the lids off of that pit and get started. Got a pretty healthy amount of rain recently here. Nights are getting cooler and cooler. It's definitely turning into fall, that's for sure. Look at that, even the leaves are starting to turn a bit yellow. That's what we're looking for. Need a chain. Got one. All the way at the back of the barn. This is the lid we're gonna try and take off now. Our mechanic just built this kind of hookup to the lid so that we can just hook the chain in and try and lift this off. Quick little disclaimer before we try and lift this lid off. We have never done this before, never even tried it, so we're doing this for the first time too. I'm just gonna grab the skid steer and move that box scraper, pallet forks, kind of get it cleaned up around here. Oh, look at that. That works pretty good. So this pump should easily fit all the way down in there. The pit is 10 feet deep, but there's so much sand buildup that we just can't drop it down far enough into the pit. So we're just seeing what we're gonna do right now. So since we can't drop this pump down far enough because it's getting hung up on the sand that's in the bottom there, we just want to turn it on and start agitating right where it is now. We got the PTO hooked up. It's at a pretty steep angle, but it'll do. If we could just start mixing it up, it might start to work itself down. So we're going to hook the hose up to the pipe and stick the hose in the pit and just try turning it on. So she's going down a little bit more and more as we're running it. Nothing's coming through this hose here, probably because the impeller is pressed down in the hard packed sand at the bottom of the pit here and it's just not pumping. We've taken the spout off of the pump. There's just a safety wire here and we're gonna grab some wrenches and take that off as well, just so that we can fit it down into the hole. All the struggle of this video is due to one fact, and it is that we use sand bedding in our barn. And then on top of that, we don't want to recycle the sand. And a lot of guys will recycle their sand so they won't have to deal with this as much. They'll build a sand lane that takes the sand out of the manure, separates it, then you can reuse that sand. But we didn't want to do that. We just wanted to pump it out into our pit. It was definitely cheaper for us this way. And that's why we're dealing with this. But this is the first time in 2 years that we've had to do this. We're probably gonna do it a little bit more often. It's probably gonna go easier if you do it more often. But so once every 2 years, probably gonna be like a once every year, once every 6 month type of deal. Why use sand bedding in the first place? It seems to give a ton of problems. That's a good question. And the answer is it's non-organic, whereas straw or shavings or something is organic material. So bacteria starts to grow in there a lot more than sand. Sand is inorganic. And because of this, you're supposed to get better udder health. We think we do. And that's why we want to stick to sand bedding. And that's why we're willing to go through so much trouble, you know, agitating that big lagoon out there and dealing with this pit here. It's all worth it because of the sand bedding. Well, we've worked it down this far now. We're gonna try and put the spout back on here just so we can aim it a little bit sharper, maybe aim it a bit more down. I think I can adjust the camera so you guys can see down there. Yeah, so we're kind of just covering everything up here. It's not really doing much. The impeller at the bottom of this pump is definitely stirring it up pretty good. We can see that the liquid in this pit is starting to get thicker and thicker, and that means that these solids are starting to get suspended and everything's starting to get mixed up nicely. Everyone that looks at dairy farm and thinks it's just milking cows and feeding them and bedding them, nah man, I'm telling you guys, 90% of the time we're just playing in cow manure. We're just waiting on my dad. We're gonna try and hook that spout up. But we want to tie a string to it just in case, and then tie it somewhere here. Just in case we drop it down in there, that would really suck. Probably just going to tie a rope around this part of the spout, just kind of as a safety. Now we got the spout on there. Now we're going to turn it on quite a bit harder. It's going really good now. We're able to constantly lower it down a little, like an inch at a time maybe. The slurry's definitely getting a lot thicker too. We're able to aim that spout a little bit further in there to get more stuff. It's working pretty good. Now we've shut this pump off. We've probably been agitating for half an hour now. Moving the impeller constantly, moving the spout, just trying to mix it up in every direction. Now we turn this pit on. This thing's agitating, or this pump. You can see it's stirring down there. Then we're gonna pump it with this pump to the lagoon, see what we did to the sand that's built up in there. Hopefully we don't see any. Best case scenario, that would be awesome. So it's just pumping out to the pit now. That's what it looks like. It's got some pretty good pressure out here. So you can see along the back walls there, I still don't see any sand build up. I think you would have already seen some for sure. Oh, there it is. Oh, you can see it in the back corner there. See that?
Yeah. That's not where the spout is anyway.
No. So you can see back there, around that green pump there, it's kind of, there's no buildup just to the left of it, but right behind it, there's still a bunch of sand buildup. That's where we're trying to get rid of. So we pumped her out to the pit. We stopped it before we got rid of all of our liquid. So I'm gonna try turning the pump on now, stir it up a little bit, and see if I can blast with the spout on some of those sand piles that are still in there. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to, but I'm gonna try. And we'll see if we can get some more of that sand agitated up. Otherwise, we're gonna take it out because we did get quite a bit stirred up and that did work pretty good. So we quit agitating with the tractor. We're just gonna pump it all the way down now. We've mixed it and agitated it for another half an hour or so. See how much we got out this time. So you see, that's what it looks like. We just pumped it all down. There's still a ton of sand and solid manure everywhere. Right around the impeller and the pump there, you can see it all got pumped away, but just behind it and where that impeller doesn't aim directly at, still all there. Just brutal. So now we're at the front of the barn here. You can see the pit that we're dealing with is back there, and now this is the parlor barn. This is the flush pit that flushes the parlor and the holding area and all that stuff down. So this is pretty much pure water. So I'm just gonna pump some of this into the back pit so that I can have some more liquid to blast at those sand dunes that are still in the back pit. All right, so we got ourselves a little bit more liquid in here again. I doubt I'm gonna be able to turn it on without splashing the crap out of everything with that impeller. It is covered up, we'll see how it goes. Well guys, we got about 60% of the sand out of the pit, we're thinking. There's still a bit of sand buildup on this side, but pretty much this entire back corner here is cleared out. A bunch right there in front of the pump. This corner, there's still some, and just a little bit here, but most of it is cleaned out. The next time we do this, we're definitely gonna make sure we have a hookup for this other lid. This is the first time we're doing it again, so we're still learning. And we figured we'd be able to get the majority of the sand out with just the one lid, stick the pump in there, stir it up with that impeller. Sure, it'll take it all out. Sand is so heavy and it takes so much to agitate up that we would need to aim the impeller and the spout that way too. And for that, we gotta take the other lid off. Next time we'll get some hookups built for that lid and we'll take that one off as well. This way we'll probably be able to take maybe 90% of the sands and the other solids out of this pit, which will be even better than we did now. But we still did a ton for the capacity of this pit today. Anyway, that's all we're gonna be doing for today. We're gonna take that green pump out of there, put the lid back on, and probably clean that green pump off. Well, it was a tight fit pulling it out, but went real good. Put the spout back on. We had to take that off again to pull the pump out. Then we'll take the lid. It's just sitting way over there. Put it back on here, and we'll be done. This is our roller mill in our roller mill shed, and one thing we're going to do here pretty soon is take this thing out of here and put a hammer mill in. That's just a different type of grain processing unit. It's going to make the barley grain a lot smaller. This thing right now basically just puts a couple cracks in the barley grain, and a hammer mill is going to pound those grains into much finer pieces, way more pieces, and it's going to make it easier for the cow to digest that grain. So this roller mill here has maybe a 7.5 horsepower motor on there, I think. And the hammer mill that we're getting is gonna have a 30 horsepower motor, so quite a bit bigger. So we needed some better service to the shed here. So there's some electricians out here, they're just trenching a line in all the way to that shed over there from the generator shed. That's where all the electrical is. So right across the yard here, buggering up the entire driveway. That's the line that's going in. This looks like it's about 3 feet deep probably. So that line's going to be dug in. Hopefully within the next week or 2 weeks that hammer mill is going to show up, and then we'll just install it in the roller mill shed there. I'm going to pressure wash this pump off here. It's just going to make maintaining it easier, and then we're also going to wash that MX285 off right away as well. Got pretty dirty hauling liquid manure. Back is pretty nasty. Got this thing looking nice and shiny. It's not 100% clean, but still pretty nice. I just wanted to get the windows clean before we do some solid manure with this thing. So it's gonna get dirty right away, but windows are nice and clean now at least. So that is going to be it for today's video, guys. If you enjoyed, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons down below. Check out the Instagram at SaskDutchKid, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.